Thanks for joining us on Golf Channel Academy. This is School of Golf. I'm Holly Saunders, joined by the Professor Martin Hall. And this week kicked off our July instructional theme of Around the Green, Martin.
Yeah, it did, and certainly you can't score low if you haven't got a good short game. We all know that. And I think at times amateurs actually underestimate just how well the top players get up and down from around the green. I mean, we know they bomb it off the tee. We know they hit a good amount of green, but they don't hit every fairway and they don't hit every green. And even if they did, they don't shoot those 62s by doing that. It's you know, it's the lofted wedges and the putter that does the damage. Now, in our show, I talked about how important it was that people understand getting the bottom of the arc in the right place. I want to go over this one more time. When I say one more time, I actually mean 1,000 times, because you just can't do. Look, people who don't pitch the ball very well, it starts when they're either getting the bottom too early and the club's on the way up when it hits the ball, or with better players, if you're a bit yippier and you're a 2 handicapper, there's a very good chance you're actually coming down too steeply. Now, in the old days, we were told, the more you put your hands ahead and hit down on the ball, the better you'll be. That's okay if you're one of these players, if you're a scooper, but you really don't necessarily need to do that to be a wonderful player. You need the bottom in the right place. Now, I've got two magic words for the short game. Nothing independent. Nothing independent. It's not just hands. It's not just arms. It's not just body pivot. They all have their part to play. You can't play with independent hands. That'll have you coming in too shallow. Holly, set up to the ball. You know, as you know, this is sort of what I do on my day off, this Golf Channel stuff. My real job is teaching golf. And on an ongoing basis, I see higher handicap players. They get very independent on the downswing. They actually tend to probably get a bit in, but they get very early with the club head acceleration, and in fact they stay too still with the feet and the knees and the hips. And it's an old wives' tale. People say, well, I know why you missed that one, you move too much. Generally it's that people don't move enough. So what I want you to do first of all is just pop your club on the ground. We're going to play a little bit of what I'd call shadow golf. Cross your hands across your shoulders. This is a 20-30 yard pitch. You move a bit to your right, you move a bit to your left. It's not a full turn because it's not a full shot. You move a bit to your right, you move a bit to your left. You wouldn't think that's happening with good pitches, but it is. If I gave you a sack of potatoes here and said, now just gently toss that sack of potatoes, hold an imaginary sack of potatoes or a medicine ball, move to the right, move to the left. The hands, the wrists, the arms, everything keeps moving in balanced proportion. There's nothing independent. And to a great degree, whatever the angle of the shaft is when you set up, you want the angle of the shaft to be about the same when you get to the ball. So take your setup for me if you would. If that's the angle of your shaft at setup, you want it to be about the same at impact. You sure as heck don't want it to be here at impact where there's a mismatch. And you certainly wouldn't do that because you know that would be detention from the professor here. Go to a darkened room. So everything in balanced proportion. Everything moves away together. Everything moves through together. It feels like gravity alone accelerates it. Pretty good. Pretty good. If I had an observation there, I would say that probably your grip pressure was a little tight and changed just a bit. I mean, it's what I do for a living, have done for goodness knows how many years, but just a little more constant with the grip pressure. So constant grip pressure, very good. Very nicely done. So it isn't that you have to be light, you could be firm, but it never changes. And there's no great feeling of trying to accelerate the club. I think that's disastrous. So it's everything back together, everything through together. Let the club have its sort of natural or ordinary acceleration. You'll hit it more solidly and you'll get it close to the hole. And now everybody's happy.
Right. You help me every single time. Every single time.
I try.
Thanks for joining us on Golf Channel Academy. For the very best in golf instruction and for more great tips like these, make sure to watch School of Golf every Wednesday night with us at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.